Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you have never been here, of course, then welcome. I'm so glad you've stopped by. Today, we are reviewing the Melt X BeetleJuice collection. And I'm more excited, I think, for this collection than I've been for any other collection in a little while. I'm just super stoked to jump into this. I love BeetleJuice. I love Melt Cosmetics as well. And from the moment I first heard about this collaboration, I was stoked. There was no way I was not going to get this. So I went ahead and bought the PR kit so I could show you guys the entire collection and review it firsthand for you guys, so you can know what it's like and if it's worth your money. That's the only reason I bought the PR kit, was for you guys, so you could know. Anyway, if you want to know what's inside this collection and how much the bundle as well as the individual products are, if you'd like to know what the whole collection consists of and what my initial first impressions are, as well as see a look created with the products, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. Now, just to let you guys know first, this, like I said, is the PR kit. This is the whole bundle. It's not necessarily a PR kit because you can buy it, so it's not actually PR. It's just the way it looks. Maybe it is what people that got sent it in PR got. I don't know. Either way, this is $350 on their website. It says $456, and then that's crossed out, and it says $350. So I'm assuming that maybe that's the overall value of what all these products do cost, but they're marked down to $350, maybe? I don't know. I want to mention though that I love that the whole thing is like the shape of the fireplace area that Lydia and BeetleJuice are gonna get married in front of. It's very BeetleJuice-esque for the door shape. And the front of it is like an optical illusion. It's not actually an optical, whatever these things are called. Holograms, holographic, not holographic, whatever it's called, where you like move it and it does things. All it really does though is look three-dimensional, and the BeetleJuice like switches back and forth. It doesn't really do anything cool, and I thought it would. But let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside, because this is getting kind of heavy. So here we have the bundle. Oh yeah, oh wow, what's that? Melt BeetleJuice collection. Oh, it's 3D. That's like paper. That is so cool. So we got the BeetleJuice head. This is reflective and like metallic. And it says Melt BeetleJuice collection, obviously. Wow, and it's got a little sandworm out here. And then the house. This is really, really neat. I'm so excited. And then let's lift the foam so that we can see what's inside. There are all of the products on this shelf. Ow, I can't even hold this. Okay, so that's what everything within it looks like. Okay, I pulled everything out of the top of the box. It's much less heavy now. It's still heavy, but it's much less heavy. And now, let's open the little drawer. What's inside the drawer? It looks like a brush pouch. Yeah, a cute little brush pouch with a sandworm on the front and the black and white stripes like BeetleJuice wears. Oh, the sandworm goes all the way across it. That's cool. Then a little card with 4 different brushes. Oh, and a cute little sticker and a mirror. Okay, let me close that. Okay, now that is everything out of the box. That was a lot of stuff to take out. So what's the little card say? Just a little advertisement, essentially. Those campaign photos are so bomb. Then the cute little sticker we got, and what's this little booklet? Oh, cool. Okay, they put all of the ingredients and directions for every product, it seems like, in this little booklet. That's awesome. I like that a lot. You still have what you need, but it's in a booklet all by itself. And then the little card says, "It's showtime." It's showtime. We hope you love this collection as much as we do. So let's break this collection down, shall we? First, that brush set. This is actually called the Lydia Brush Set. So we have the brush bag that it comes in, and its little zipper pouch, like I showed you guys already. And it's all of the black and white BeetleJuice stripes. And then we have 4 brushes, and they each have the split down the middle. So they have half black bristles, half white bristles. And this brush set by itself is $80 for the bag and the brush set. I personally don't think I would pay normally $80 for a pouch and 4 brushes. Even if the clutch is actual leather, maybe it's not. I don't know for sure. Oh, there's 5 brushes. Sorry, I missed one. Okay, there's actually 5 brushes. And the print on these is inspired by Lydia's lace veil. Here's the brush handles, and you've got Lydia dancing and her veil print behind it. Just the dancing makes my heart happy. And then this is what the tops of the brushes look like. So this first brush here is brush number 28, and it is a round detail short brush. Then we have brush 29, which is medium shading brush. Brush 830, which is a detail blending brush. Brush 516, which is a lip brush. And then 820 is a tapered blending brush. And I just wanted you guys to be able to see really quick the bag up close. I mean, if you're gonna be paying $80 for it, you might as well get a good look. And we have the little melt zipper holder. I don't know. And then if we flip it over, it's got the snake print following on the back. It looks like a Monopoly board or like a Game of Life board. And then we have a clasp in the front, and then the BeetleJuice, then the bag opens. Okay, and that's it for the $80 brush bag with 5 brushes. Then we have the Lydia Mirror. This has the melt logo printed on it with the BeetleJuice and the dancing Lydias all in a circle. You know, every time I saw this mirror, I thought it looked kind of cheap, and I honestly didn't really want it. It was just part of the collection. I knew I was gonna get it because of that. But feeling it, it actually feels kind of luxe. It feels like it almost has LED lights made into it. I realize it doesn't, obviously, but it feels weighty, like it has something made inside of it that gives it just a little more of a luxe feel to it. It's a little bit smaller of a mirror. I can see this portion of my face in it, so it's not all that massive, but it's a good handheld mirror. I mean, it's good for, I can see it being good for travel because it is a smaller mirror. I'm sorry, that was getting very obnoxious. Anyway, it is a smaller mirror, so I can see it being good for travel, and this is $21. Again, a little pricey for me, but for a BeetleJuice collection, it's fine. I'll pay whatever for it. Obviously, I did already. And then, for the first time I've ever seen in any collection as far as I know, we've got a lash curler. The lash curler does feel pretty cheap. Or at least it doesn't feel as luxurious as my Laura Mercier lash curler. Feels like it's gonna get the job done though. And it also comes with an extra squishy dilly, so I'll have an extended period of time that I can curl my lashes with this lash curler. But that's not all. There's also the Supernatural Lash Mascara. Now, I don't know if you can get the lash curler without buying the mascara, but there is a bundle for both, and that's the Supernatural Lash Set for $35, but you can buy the mascara by itself. And it's the Supernatural Lash Mascara, and it is $24. And I've got to show you the packaging for this simply because it's just too magnificent not to show you. It's a dark maroon, and it has BeetleJuice printed on it with the sandworm, and that looks so cool. And it is so heavy. It's really, really heavy. It definitely does feel like a luxe product. And then if we open it, let me show you the wand, and let me see the wand because I haven't seen it yet. Okay, it's got a little bit of what? Okay, that's weird. That's very different. I think I like that. I'm ready to try that. I did just notice too that all of the weight and the luxury feel in this is in the lid. Take that for what you will. It's like they weighted the lid to make it a little more luxurious feeling, and it worked because it does. Next, we have 2 gel liners and a pigment paint. I think this is a new formula for Melt as well.
I am utterly alone.
And this one is the name Utterly Alone Pigment Paint. The Utterly Alone Pigment Paint goes for $19. And here's the component that it comes in. It's got BeetleJuice with the little skulls on the outside. It's super cute. And the shade itself is a really pretty, like, royal purple kind of color, but it's very metallic looking. And if we swatch it, ooh, very creamy. Oh, wow, that feels so good. Wow, that is gorgeous. Okay, and that's what the Utterly Alone Pigment Paint looks like. Then we've got the Afterlife Gel Liner. It's an ultra matte gel liner, and it is also $19. Gonna open it and swatch this shade as well. Looks like a very neon chartreuse, also very creamy. Then the shade 125 Years. And this is a cool toned gray. Again, an ultra matte liner. Just very smoky, very cool, very gray. And that's 125 years. And that paint pigment is no joke. That spread so far. Purple got all over the back of my hand and stained pink just a little bit, and it never even had time to dry. I literally put it on and then wiped it off. And I used one makeup wipe to take off all 3 of those shades, and look at it. It is mainly purple everywhere, so the purple goes far. Now these are the lip paints. There are 3 shades of them, and they are $19 each. Each one says the same thing, Melt on one side, BeetleJuice on the other. So first we have this more red-based purple, which is the shade It's Showtime. So there's the terrible swatch of the shade It's Showtime. Then we have a really light pink, almost sort of a hot pink actually, and this is the shade Strange and Unusual. Just like Lydia, just like me. There is Strange and Unusual. And last is a much deeper royal kind of purple, just like the paint, and this is in the shade Weirder and Weirder. And there's the shade Weirder and Weirder. Wow, that looks almost like a black on the monitor. Okay, and that's all 3 lip paints. Those are very opaque, very metallic as well. They're almost just like a metallic liquid lipstick. You could kind of think of them that way because they look exactly like that. They don't actually list what the flavor is or the scent is, but it smells beautiful. It smells like a bakery, kind of. And also, these are meant to be stains. So each one actually leaves behind its own color stain. A purple, pink, and a soft pink, according to their colors, which is appropriate. But for those of us who don't want a lip stain, we have these options. And each one of these is a lipstick, obviously, with the value of $19. I love the fluorescent chartreuse packaging. I bet you these would be so bright and blinding in a black light. But here they are with BeetleJuice printed and Melt printed on them. And this one is in the shade Calypso. And it's got a sandworm printed onto it. That's so cool. So this is more of like a mulberry purple. We've also got the shade Ghost with the Most, which is like a olive green sort of color. And the last lipstick is the shade Miss Argentina. So dubbed appropriately because Miss Argentina wears pretty much this color lipstick. It's a very orange-based red. And that's all of the other items. Now let's talk about the 2 eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these for you, but I'm gonna show you the outer packaging first. Coming up first with purple and black stripes, this is the Recently Deceased palette. It has the reflective embossed holographic print. Shows that it's a Recently Deceased palette from Melt Cosmetics with the BeetleJuice logo on it. Then if we flip it over, it's got the ingredients as well as the logo on the back. Then if we flip it over again and open it, the inside of the packaging is this chartreusey green. Actually, it's like a dark green, like a lime green. And we have, oh, so is the actual palette itself. The component is a plastic lime green. That is so cool. I love this. Okay, so it's green and black with the sandworm on the front, and BeetleJuice is a sandworm. Then on the back, it's got the black sticker attached to it with the Melt logo and the sandworm again. And then if we open it up, we have a protective sheet that just fell out that is in fact a scene from the movie. This is the scene from the movie when they just fell into the little model of the town and they find BeetleJuice. That's the shadow cover. And now here's the palette itself. And this is the Recently Deceased palette from Melt Cosmetics. Next, with the red spirals and the silver writing on the front, we have the Waiting Room palette. And then if we flip it over on the back, it is also red and reflective with the ingredients as well as Melt printed on the back. And then if we flip it back over and open this one, ooh, a really dark maroon plastic. That's really pretty. Then we have the Waiting Room printed on front. This time, instead of a BeetleJuice head, we have the sandworm head. We flip it over, and it's got the sandworm body and Melt Cosmetics on the back. And then the palette itself. I wonder what the protective sheet is in here. It is, oh, it's the lady in the waiting room. That is so cute. Oh, I love it so much. Then if we open the palette itself, here are the shades. Oh, there's 2 more shades in this one than there were in the other one. This one has 10 shades. Okay, and that's the Waiting Room palette. So now I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in so that we can swatch both palettes. Starting with the BeetleJuice palette, the first shade is BeetleJuice. Paranormal. Draw a door. Neurotic. Recently deceased. Lost souls. Little accident. Bioexorcist. Now the first shade in the waiting room palette is Obituary. No Exit. Sawed Girl. Dante's Inferno. Lydia. Charman. Tombstone. Shrunken Head. Juno. And last is the shade Sandworm. Okay guys, there's all 18 shades from both the recently deceased palette and the waiting room palette from Midas Cosmetics. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. Here we have a video close-up of every single shade. With the swatches done, it's now time to move on to an actual eye look. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes off camera with the BeetleJuice base in the shade Rumor 02, and I will be right back. But I want to say first that with swatching these palettes, they feel, to me anyway, a little bit different than Melt's standard formula. Like what they used with, I think, the 420 palette. If you haven't seen that review, I'll leave it linked up here so you can watch it if you want to. That was a gorgeous palette. There are some of the similar tones actually in here from that, like some of the yellows and the greens. They kind of resemble that, but they don't look like repeats to me at all. They just felt a little bit different with some of them, and a couple of them swatched a little odd. Like the shade Dante's Inferno, it went on super metallic and very opaque, but it moved really weird. As I was dragging the swatch out, it was actually moving the shadow from the place it was downward, and I was left with a patch where the color moved, and that was really weird. I've never seen that before with a swatch. But regardless, swatches mean literally nothing when it comes to how the shadows perform. It's just a test of the color story outside of the palette. Eyes are now primed, so it's time to create a look. Guess what I'm gonna start with is using the 820 tapered blending brush. Ooh, is it white or is it black? Is it white or is it black? White, black, white, black. And I'm gonna go into the shade No Exit. And with this shade, I'm just doing my typical start. I'm just putting it all into the crease on the outer edge. Wow, that is a lot darker than I thought it was gonna be. Wow, that's almost like a black. Jeez. In the pan, it looks like it's gonna be just a little bit lighter than that, but it's not. That's okay though. It is very potent, very pigmented. That is something that I really do like about Melt shadows normally, based on their normal formula. They're always very pigmented. Albeit rather powdery a lot of the time, but very pigmented. This brush is pretty fantastic though. It's got the perfect side to it, so I can easily make that wing shape really concise and clear. Man, that was really not the color I wanted. That looks so goofy. And now I'm gonna use the 830 brush from Melt. It's more of the pointed detail blender brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade BeetleJuice, or BeetleGuice. And this is kind of where I'm afraid that what I want to happen isn't going to happen. I really want the green to mix with, well, what I thought was going to be a maroon. So now I'm just hoping that it's gonna mix with a dark purple. I'm gonna stick it up here in the inner corner area first and see. Wow, that's really pretty. Very pigmented. I'm gonna pull this green all the way up toward the bridge of the nose too. I just want this to be bold and colorful because it's BeetleJuice. We're gonna put on a show, you know? Now let's see if it blends. Oh, wow. That's actually blending really beautifully. I wasn't able to see it as I was blending it because the brush was covering up where I was blending, but that's gorgeous. That's turning into like this, I guess because this is more of a brown than it is a maroon, it's just turning into this grungy, like rusty green color. It's deadly. It is deadly. I love that. So I'm just gonna go back in with the 820 brush that has no exit on it and just kind of finesse this blend between here. Now that I know it actually will blend. Now that I look relatively dead, which I'm loving, this is like the exact colors of BeetleJuice's face makeup. You know, like the green blood he bleeds and like the brown grossness that's all over his face. That's what this looks like. But now I want to try and add a little bit of that maroon shade in that I couldn't get earlier. So I'm going to use this Morphe X Nikita in 6 brush and go into the shade Obituary this time. And I'm going to start applying Obituary right on the outer edges of the shade No Exit. So I kind of feel like there was a little bit of a missed opportunity here with using Obituary and No Exit because those look almost identical. Now I'm going to try to use the brush number 29 and go into the shade Lydia. This brush probably isn't going to work in this shade, but I'm going to try it anyway. This is more like a blending brush, but I'm going to try and use it like a packing brush and see what happens. Oh wow, it's actually kind of working. Wow, that's pretty gorgeous. That red is a very pigmented red. It has a lot of base pigment to it. Not a whole lot of shine. It's definitely not like a metallic finish. At least with this brush it's not, but it is very, very potent. Okay, the red is now applied. That shade is a little bit messy. There is quite a lot of fallout from that one. I mean, look at my under eye. Definitely a lot of fallout. I look so goofy right now. Okay, whew. Yes, lots of fallout. Now, I'm gonna use the 28 brush. This is very condensed down flat brush. And with this one, I'm gonna go into the shade Juno, and Juno is gonna be my brow bone highlight. I was really debating this or the white, and I figured the white would just make that maroon, not maroon shade get all ashy and gross. So I'm gonna try this one. It's not picking up very easily on this brush though. It's another one of those metallic type of shades that just want to smooth down when you run a flat brush through it, but I have a lot of chunkiness on the brush, so that should build up to some impact. Let's see if it does. See how much just like clumped down onto my eye? Definitely got a silvery metallic finish, giving me a nice reflect. Going on top of the other shade pretty well. It's pretty much like acting as a silvery topper shade, just adding a reflect to the color. So it's like you can still see the color that's there normally, and then when I turn it just adds that silver sheen to it. So it's really not doing much in the way of pigment, it's just adding some shine, which is great for a brow bone highlight. That pretty much means you can use it with just about anything. And last, for the crease work, all I'm gonna do is take the same 820 brush I was using earlier in the shade No Exit, which is pretty much a black, and I'm gonna put this on the outer edge of my eye. You can see what it's doing. It's making it look just more together, more finished, more polished. Everything is deepened about as much as I want it to be deepened. So I'm gonna clean the edges of this look up a little bit, see if after I do, maybe it looks a little bit better. And then we'll go from there. Wow, that looks so much better already. Now that I've got everything cleaned up and I don't have any more red and black under eyes like they are bruised and I got punched, let's go in with some eyeliner, shall we? And I think for eyeliner, I'm gonna use the Ultra Matte Gel Liner in the shade The Afterlife. I'm gonna just swirl the brush bristles in the pigment. It is quite textured, and I feel like the only way that I would be able to alleviate that texture would be covering the liner with an eyeshadow, like setting it in place while it's still wet. It does dry very matte, but I just have a lot of texture. And there's a lot of like crepey pieces where I can see that by me moving, the eyeliner's starting to crack and just get not very cute. And that's sort of a bummer because I do love the color and I love the liner. The liner went on really well. I could build it up. It was flat and opaque and really nice. My face makeup is now done and applied, so let's move on to the lashes. So I'm gonna use this little lash curler and see how it feels. It doesn't open very wide, and that's sort of scary because I like to really get in there. So let's see if this will get in there. Lash curler, definitely not my favorite, but I can work with it, so it's okay. Now let's test out the mascara. I'm really excited about this mascara, but my plan is to not wear lashes with this look, so let's hope that it's a good mascara. The wand is just so different from anything I've ever used. It's hard to say my opinion on it, honestly, right now. Okay, so what I see with this mascara is pretty decent fullness, not really too much thickening going on, but I do see a slight bit of lengthening. However, I don't think this has made my lashes big enough or dramatic enough for this look. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the lower lash line. Now for this portion of the look, I kind of want to pull in from some colors that I haven't used yet. So I think I'm gonna go for like a dead under eye sort of vibe. So I'm gonna use this Alamar Cosmetics 3 Ojitos brush set brush, and it's the flat brush. And I'm gonna go into the shade Lost Souls. And with Lost Souls, I'm gonna start putting this right on my lower lash line, right along my lashes. Perfect. Got the purple applied to the lower lash line and it's all smudged out down there now. So I have just a beautiful purple under eye. Isn't that gorgeous? And now to really liven things up, I'm gonna go in with this fluffy wide brush. It's the Bringing to Funk Drumsticks from Beet Cosmetics. And I'm gonna go into the shade Shrunken Head. I'm just taking a little bit right on the end of the brush and I'm going to start smoking out the shade Lost Souls with Shrunken Head. Wow, that is awesome. And that's it for the lower lash line. Now the very last thing I want to do with the eyeshadow is go in with the Morphe M222 brush, a very pointy, either crease detail blender or inner corner highlight. And I'm gonna go into the shade Juno again. And Juno here is gonna get packed on right here in this inner corner. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness. Okay, the gray is on the waterline. So now I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera, put on the BeetleJuice mascara on the lower lashes so I can essentially finish off the eye look. And then I will come back and we're gonna test out the lip products. Lower lashes are done. Now let's move on to lips. The dark purple would fit very well. So potentially weirder and weirder. Definitely not the Miss Argentina. How about Ghost with the Most? And Calypso. It looks like it would fit the look. So I guess what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and go in with the lip stain Weirder and Weirder. Or no, lip paint. I keep calling it a lip stain. So let's see what it looks like on the lips. Wow, that is so dark. This tastes so good, or it smells so good. I actually haven't tasted it yet, but it smells amazing. And this paddle applicator seems quite large. Oh wait, I have a blip brush. I forgot about that. It's official, I've decided that I love this lip brush. This gets so sharp and pointed and detailed. You know what, I'm also gonna go ahead and just throw on the shade It's Showtime. Right on the center. It probably won't match, it'll be a pinky purple version, but you know what, YOLO. Done, love that. And I love how this lip is drying. It's drying like a complete matte lip, but it has this gorgeous metallic sparkly finish with this black base. It's just so pretty. So with the lip paints, that is the very last product to review, and that means that this is the entire look done and created using the Midas Cosmetics X BeetleJuice collection. What do you guys think of the look? Let me know down in the comments. I know it's definitely different, we can say that, from what my normal looks have been recently, but I love this. I think this is super cool, it's super different, it is very BeetleJuicy, if that makes sense. So I definitely do like the look that was created. But let me go through some of the products and give you my thoughts. So first I want to talk about the mascara and lash curler duo. I personally, if I didn't buy this bundle and I was just buying the collection product by product, knowing what I know now, I would skip out on the lash curler. For me, this just doesn't seem like a universal lash curler, only because I can't really get in there on my lashes and squeeze them without messing up my face makeup, and that's a problem for me. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have gotten the bundle with these in them. I would have just gotten the mascara. I do like this mascara though. I think I'm gonna have to give it more of a review to give it a real, well, review. For now, I like how it went on, and I like these bristles at the end of the wand that go out further, because I feel like it just really helps me get in there on those accent lashes, like on the outer edge and the inner edge where I can't really reach it normally with a lash wand. It really helps with those. The eyeliners and the paint, I know I would buy these all again. I buy every gel liner they make whenever they do come out with collections like this, and I do like them. I like them only in a certain way. They definitely show texture if you build them up on top of anything that is textured, so it's best if you go on just clean skin with them, because if you don't, I will admit, they look really terrible. It looks really bad on my eyes right now. You can probably maybe see it, but good news, the liner didn't transfer at all. Next, the lip products. Now these are all, I think, $20, $19 each. And I didn't see any specific bundles, so we'll refer to them as individual shades. If I didn't buy this as a bundle collection, I don't know that I would have bought every lipstick. I would have probably only bought one to pair with a look. And knowing me, I would have most likely bought Calypso because I really love purples on the lips. But I am glad I bought all three within the bundle, because I'm sure I will find a use eventually for all three of them. Then for the lip paints, I really like these. I've never used something specifically like this. It's like a hybrid between a metallic lipstick, but a super glittery lipstick and a matte lipstick. So it's kind of like the best of all three worlds. The fact that it dries down to a non-transfer finish makes my heart happy, and I want to own all of them. So these, 10 out of 10 recommend. If you like some of that extra on your lip and you want to just have a solid, sheeny, metallic finish like this, these are perfect. I like these a lot. Then, the two biggest parts of the collection, in my opinion, are the palettes. The Recently Deceased and the Waiting Room. And would I recommend both of these palettes? So for the Recently Deceased palette by itself, we have a yellow and green color story with a purple color story. I think this one is probably the most abstract and fun. So if you're wanting more of like a partner palette to pair up with a normal everyday palette you have, that you want to just kind of spruce it up and add some color and have the inspiration of BeetleJuice, and you can only pick one of these palettes, this is probably the one I would pick to be that partner palette, because it can give you some of those pops of color while still staying true to BeetleJuice. Then the Waiting Room palette. This one I would more so recommend for everyone, more general kind of palette. I feel like this could be the one that could be your dark smoky or just mid-tone smoky kind of look that you could create with it if you want to, just using some of the grays down here. So you could just keep it softer and more neutral, but you can also deepen it and make it really smoky and dramatic and more gothic, if you will, with some of the black and the reds that are in here. But again, still that melt formula that I like, still performed really well. Again, had no problems out of it, aside from the fact of the shade looking lighter in the pan than it did on the eye. Needless to say, I really like this whole collection for the most part. Aside from the fact there were a couple of duds and a couple of dud moments. Overall, a really great collection. I know that no one from Melt will probably ever watch this video, but kudos to you, Melt. I think this collection was very well done. The whole PR box itself was just a tribute to my childhood and watching BeetleJuice, so I thank you for that. You have made my morbid heart just oh so happy, and I appreciate it more than you know. And with that, you guys, that concludes this review of the Melt Cosmetics X BeetleJuice collection. I'm serious about what I said earlier though. I want to know what you guys thought. What do you think about the whole collection just as it is? Do you like what it came with, and what would you recommend be changed about it if you could? What would you take out? What would you add in that you know Melt makes that you like? Let me know in the comments. You guys know that I always love to have a conversation with you. It's just a matter of what we're talking about that day. Well, that's enough out of me. I'm gonna quit talking now. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you wanted to leave me a big thumbs up. It's right down there. You just gotta click it and it'll just bloop and lock it in that you liked the video. It does help me see what content that you guys like, but it also lets others see what content you guys like from me, and might even help YouTube recommend some of my videos, which would be really awesome. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this. And that is to always remember and to never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.